You're listening to the Good Girls Get Rich podcast, episode 47.
Welcome to the Good Girls Get Rich podcast with your host, Karen Yankovich. This is where we embrace how good you are, girl. Stop being the best kept secret in town. Learn how to use simple LinkedIn and social media strategies and make the big bucks.
Hello, I'm your host, Karen Yankovich, and I am excited about today's guest. Before we get to our interview with Ginzburg, I want to thank you for all of the iTunes reviews we've been getting recently. I love them, and I would love to see yours if you haven't shared your iTunes review with us yet, or, review in general. Just go on over to iTunes, give us a rating and review. That helps our visibility, and I'm all about trying to help you with your visibility. So I will absolutely give you a shout out on the show, get you some visibility. If you've done us I don't know, it's not really a favor because I don't really want to ask it as a favor. If it's something that you feel that you're called to do, I would love to have your review, and I'll make sure that I thank you by giving you a shout out. So we have recently gotten, and I like to read them on the show. We got a review from Jenna, and we've actually had Jenna on the show from bravemasters.com. And Jenna says, love her interview style. Thank you to Karen first for having me on her show as a guest. We had a rich conversation. And second, I love the way Karen draws out the truth, embodies courage, and inspires all. It's real, it's raw. I mean, listen, if you know me, you know I'm real. Like, it is what I say, what it is, right? That's the Jersey in me. So thank you, Jenna, for number one, being a guest on our show, and we'll link in the show notes Jenna's interview. And also thank you for that review. It was, I love that you're resonating with what we're doing here. And if you that are listening are resonating to what we're doing here, I would love to get a review from you and a rating. You can also give us a review on SpeakPipe. There's a link to it in the show notes. If you go to KarenYankovich.com/047, you'll see the link to SpeakPipe where you can click on that link and leave me an audio review. We've had a few so far, and we've had a chance to play them on the show. And again, would absolutely give you a shout out. So thanks, Jenna, for leaving that review. And if, I'd love to be able to shout you out to my Good Girls Get Rich audience. So this show is brought to you by my Triple Your Biz Club, tripleyourbiz.com. It is a group coaching program that I run where we are working on your business every single day. We have weekly live group coaching calls. So you get, to ask me any question you want on these live calls every single week. We have a Facebook group that is very active. We're in there all the time. Madison, my community manager, is always reaching out to me if anybody in there has a question that I missed. So we're very responsive to your questions in that group. It's kind of like having a 24/7 marketing team. And we have amazing guest experts that come in every month. We've been so blessed with some of our guest experts. If you join now, you'll get access to all of those interviews. We have a training library where we've got, training on LinkedIn and Facebook and all kinds of obviously lots of LinkedIn training. And I've got some really cool stuff coming up in September for the Triple Your Biz Club that I'm not really going to share yet because I haven't even shared it with the Triple Your Biz members yet, but I'm really excited about what we're going to be doing in September. And again, no matter when you're listening to the show or when you join the program, you'll get access to all of the replays to anything we do in any month. So tripleyourbiz.com. I would love to be a part of your business growth, and our sole focus in that is on your profitability. So tripleyourbiz.com, check that out. If you want to chat with me to see if it's a good fit or any of my other programs, just go to chatwithkarenY.com and schedule time, and let's chat and see if there's a fit for one of the programs that I have with you. So I am excited to have Jean with us today. Jean and I are kind of cut from the same cloth. We have a very similar focus on digital marketing. So it was really fun to geek out with her. And I actually really love when we have, we do things differently because it helps me understand different ways of doing things. There's no one right way to do any of this. There's a couple of wrong ways, but there's definitely not one right way. So it was really fun to geek out with Jean on digital marketing. So check out episode 47 of Good Girls Get Rich. Okay, we have Jean Ginzburg here. She is a #1 best-selling author, serial entrepreneur, digital marketing expert with more than 10 years of industry expertise, helping companies scale revenue, optimize sales and marketing processes, and improve productivity. Jean is the CEO and founder of JeanGinzburg.com, a digital marketing education company, and Ginzburg Digital Marketing, a digital marketing agency. Jean's clients range from brand name Fortune 500 companies to innovative startups. Additionally, she is a contributing writer for the Amex Open Forum, Influencive and Authority Magazine. Influencive and Authority Magazine. That's a word you don't hear often. In July 2018, Jean was named Woman to Watch by Colorado Biz Magazine. Jean, it's so great to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm very excited. We are kind of cut from the same cloth. You do LinkedIn marketing, I do digital marketing, and I, of course, there's a lot of crossover with that. So I'm very excited to talk to another expert in the field.
Yeah, I love this because I think it's so good for our listeners to hear the kinds of conversations that you and I have, because, I think it helps them understand that, we've really got the ability now to use these digital marketing tools to grow our businesses like we've never had before, right? When, 20 years ago, we didn't, we're on the same playing field as, Pepsi, right? We have the same tools that they have, and we don't, and that has never happened before. So I think it's really exciting to be able to have these conversations and share how that can, help our audience.
Yeah, it's very true. Actually, interesting that you mentioned it, how, back 20 years ago or before digital marketing, before technology really came about, like it was so difficult to compete with big brands like Pepsi and
right. I remember,
it was, a small business didn't have the budget to go and get a TV ad or a radio ad because it was just so incredibly expensive and the technology was just so expensive. And now in the last, 10 years, it's just become the barrier to being, to owning your own company has pretty much just gone away because it's so much easier now to get technology, and it's a very cost-effective and inexpensive for a company to get started.
Yeah, and, the playing field is way more level than it's ever been before.
Yeah, absolutely. So I find that to be amazing because there's so many entrepreneurs out there now who want to own their own business and who want to share their message, and now they can. And that's the kind of companies that I'm sure you work with similar companies that I do as well, who are, small to medium-sized businesses who want to get their message across.
Lucky us, right?
Yeah,
lucky us.
Absolutely.
So tell me a little bit about your journey. How did you get started in digital marketing, or where did you get started?
Yeah, so I was in college and worked right out of college. I worked as a paralegal for a few years. So I know that's totally, absolutely not exactly at all what I'm doing now. But it was kind of an interesting point is that when I was working as a paralegal for a couple of years out of college, I realized I didn't want to be in the legal space. I did not want to be a paralegal, did not want to be an attorney and go to law school. And I really had a passion for marketing, for customer service, for working with clients. And so I got into marketing and then worked there for a couple of years and just kind of traditional general marketing, and then got a job in the digital space about 11 years ago. And that's really how things got started. I fell in love with it. It became my passion. At first I worked just in the corporate space and just working up the ladder and the corporate ladder and learning a lot. So I'm very grateful for that. But then I realized this was not really my path in terms of being in the corporate space, and that I wanted to do digital marketing, but didn't want to, have an employer, if you will. I wanted to do something on my own because I felt that I could do provide a much better service to clients if I worked directly with them versus, working at an agency or something like that, which is what I was doing before I left. And the first kind of foray into entrepreneurship was that I got one client. It was one big client that I had. So the transition was kind of very seamless because I went from, having kind of an employer and working at an agency to having one client who was taking up, pretty much most of my time. So it was almost like having a full-time job. But then after 6 months, I realized, hey, this is not a good strategy because if this one client leaves, my business is, no more. So I decided, hey, this is a good time to start looking for more clients. And and then ever since then, it's just been growing and getting bigger. And been helping more companies out there with the digital marketing.
So how do you do that? Do you actually, so you said you have an agency. So you have an agency where you do the work for people, but you also do strategy. Tell me a little bit about the work your business does.
Sure, absolutely. So we have a few ways that we work with clients. So we have, one is the agency side of things. So we do the strategy, the digital marketing strategy, and the execution on behalf of our clients. So that's basically like, an agency. If you want to outsource everything that you do for digital marketing, you go to an agency like us. Mm-hmm. We also do consulting services. So that's advisory and best practices. So we don't do the execution, but we do the strategy, and we work with our clients on creating the strategy and going through like the platforms and the different points that we think would work best for their business. So like social media or advertising or whatever it might be, but they do the execution on their end. That's consulting. And then we also have a group coaching program for really up and coming new entrepreneurs who might not have a budget for marketing or maybe have a very small budget for marketing. And so we do topics every week, different topics on digital marketing. It's like a webinar based program. And so I go through some content for about half an hour, 45 minutes, and then answer questions for people who are, maybe are stuck or need troubleshooting for a specific platform or specific digital marketing strategy. So we kind of have different layers of the types of companies we work with.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's awesome. And so it really sounds like you really serve people across many different arenas. Very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So for our, let's say, solopreneurs or small business owners, what are some of the most effective strategies that they should be really paying attention to in this world?
I would say if you're just getting started, my recommendation would be to not necessarily quit your full-time job. So if you're just getting started, like literally you want to open up a business tomorrow, I would say hang on to your full-time job for a little bit. And the one thing I would recommend is to start creating content. So whatever is the audiences that you're going after, think about what it is that you're offering them, how you're helping them, what are their pain points, what are their frustrations, and start creating content, whether it's video content, blogs, articles, case studies about that particular audience group that you're looking to service. And then post that all to post your content to social media, to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and start creating a community, basically. That would be my really first recommendation. I know that in the beginning, there's not really a lot of revenue in it, but that's really the best way to get started and to create a community.
I agree with you. And I think that there's a lot of pushback, or at least I find that there's a lot of pushback on that, because it's like you said, it's work with not necessarily some revenue initially, but my focus being on LinkedIn and personal branding, it immediately starts to elevate you to expert level when people see you creating content. And, I didn't even realize this until I started doing like local networking and meeting people in the community, how few people are actually doing this, creating consistent, regular content that positions them as an expert and lets people know, the kinds of things that they teach and that they're expert at. So I love that you're recommending that, because you're right. You can open a Facebook page, but then what are you going to put on it? What's going to be on there?
Yeah. And I think that, and I see that all the time. So I totally agree with you when I onboard a new client. A lot of times, especially in like older industries, maybe like the newer industries, they understand about content, but like businesses who maybe are like in the real estate space or manufacturing, like to them, creating content is like just another chore that they need to do as part of their business. And it kind of is this foreign thing. And I'm like, that's not really how to address it. It's not just like another thing on your to-do list. It is a way to elevate yourself, your brand, and your personal brand, and to get more people to notice you, and especially audiences in your community that you're trying to reach. It's not just like another task.
And I think people don't understand that one piece of content, and I love it to be weekly, but one piece of content gives you so much content. Like one blog, I had a client this morning, a private client that I'm working with, and we created a blog process because he's one of those people that's fighting it a little bit, doesn't really want to do it consistently. And I was like, if you release the blog on Monday and post it to LinkedIn. Then Monday, maybe Tuesday, maybe also you post it on Monday to Instagram. And then Tuesday, you can go on live on Facebook and talk about it, right? And maybe at the same time, have something recording it for IGTV. So now you're spending another 10 minutes, right? Because that's only going to take about 10 minutes for that live. And then you can release that IGTV on Wednesday. And then you can download that Facebook video, and upload it to LinkedIn on Thursday as native video, upload it to YouTube on Friday as native video, upload it to LinkedIn a couple weeks later as a LinkedIn article, all from that one blog, right? That one piece of content can get you so much visibility, as opposed to doing a blog and saying, no one's reading it. Like, you can use it, you can leverage it in so many different ways.
Absolutely. Actually, I will see your point that you just said and raise you, because one of the strategies that I've been working on with my clients, and this is something that I've been implementing with all of them, is you create a video. And so then you can repurpose that video and put it on, Facebook, you can put it on YouTube. Then you create you can download the audio and create a podcast episode. So an audio out of it, and then distribute it again through social media. Then you get your video transcribed.
Right.
It's like $1 a minute to get it transcribed. And then you create a blog post out of it. And then you can create snippets out of it for like quotes to put onto social media. So like on Facebook or on Instagram. So absolutely. Like, you can create probably 10 different pieces of content across all social media channels with just like one video.
Right. I know. And more than any, like, I feel like I see either people doing one or the other. They're either doing like some kind of a show or a podcast or a blog and not really doing anything after it, or they're doing all this social media, but they don't really have any new content, so just kind of merging the two, being consistent with one single piece of content a week, whatever that is, and then repurposing it and having a topic to talk about all week long is exactly what's going to get you the kind of visibility that can quickly grow your business.
Yeah. And I'd say one more other point that I think that businesses get it wrong is they don't have a content calendar. So I am religious about me and my team having a content calendar. So if I create a video today, I post it onto our Trello board, which is the project management tool we use internally. And then it gets reviewed by my marketing coordinator. It gets scheduled by my virtual assistant. So that way we have a calendar, and my virtual assistant keeps a calendar for everything that she does and schedules it on Hootsuite. We use Hootsuite, but you could also use Buffer. So creating a content calendar and actually putting it into a spreadsheet or some sort of project management tool is extremely important to be consistent, because that's the other thing that I'm seeing as an issue is that, yes, you can create content, but then it just, like, what I see a lot of times happening is like, I come in as a digital marketing expert, and they're like, okay, great, let's start creating content. And it happens for like a month, and then it just like falls off their radar. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, great, awesome, we're creating content, this is awesome. Like, even seeing maybe some engagement, but then things just fall off very quickly. So having that consistency and having that calendar to keep you organized, to keep you accountable is really the way to do it.
Yep. I love it. And here's the thing too. It may seem like more work when you're creating this content calendar, but really you're making it easy because everybody knows what they need to do then. Everybody knows what they need to do. And then you don't have to wake up in the morning and think, what was I supposed to do today? You can just go look at that content calendar, see what's on your agenda for the day, and again, like you said, a lot of it's probably already scheduled, so yeah, that's fabulous. I love it.
Yes, there's and just having this as a streamlined process. Like, if you like right now for us, it became a well-oiled machine because we are, everybody knows what they're supposed to do, and there's no there's no guessing or anything like that. So it just becomes a much more streamlined process in your business versus like having to figure out what am I going to post content and what I'm going to say tomorrow.
Right. So when you start to work with somebody, how do you decide where they should be, right? There's so many places that you can be, and really we don't need to be everywhere. So how do you make that decision? What kinds of criteria do you use to decide what platforms a customer should focus on?
Well, first, it comes from the client originally, I would say, because we do a customer avatar profile. So who is their ideal target market? So that's one of the one of the three primary things we work on before we even get into digital marketing or any sort of marketing is really understanding and honing in on who the companies or the brand's ideal customers. And one of the questions is, where are your audiences hanging out? So are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Are they reading publications, blogs, websites? Are they going to conferences? Are they following certain gurus or experts in the field? So that is the first point. In terms of like social media, I also think of it as different generations are in different points of social media or like types of businesses. So for example, if you're a business, of course, you're going to be on LinkedIn. If you're 15 to 25, you're probably on Snapchat. If you're a millennial, you're probably on Facebook. So we also kind of delineated this way based on gender and age.
I love that. I love that. And, one of the things that I use sometimes too, as a limiter, like where do we want to be, is where do you like to be? Right. Like if sometimes people are, if you tell me I just hate Twitter, you're never going to do a good job there, so focus on a place that you like to hang out. If you love Pinterest, we can find you clients on Pinterest,
Mm-hmm.
So I think that that kind of fits in with what's your generation and where do you like to hang?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yes. Again, it depends really on, I feel also just where people are hanging out, because we really want to intersect them where they are, where their audiences are.
Right. Exactly. Cool. So you recently wrote a book about all of this. Tell us about your book.
I did. So I wrote a book. The book is called Win New Customers: How to Attract, Connect, and Convert More Prospects into Customers in 60 Days Using Digital Marketing Strategies. I know that's a mouthful, but the book is a labor of love, if you will, from everything that I've done with my private clients. And the strategies that I've created, the strategies that have worked, and I've distilled it down into a book that can really, have worked for me, worked for my clients' businesses to grow your brand and to use digital marketing to find more prospects and convert them into paying customers. So we go into a lot of the things we just talked about, things like a content strategy, having a product strategy. So, for example, if you have you're a coach or something like that, and you have, let's say, maybe a $2,000 coaching program. Well, a lot of times it's very difficult to convert someone who's never heard of your brand or never heard of, your coaching program, to convert them into, join a $2,000 coaching program right off the bat. So we create a product strategy to bring those users into the fold and to maybe have them buy a small price point product, and then another one, heard of you. And then we talk about things like Facebook advertising and email funnels and nurture funnels and retargeting. So yeah, all of that is included in the book, and there's actionable items in there that you can start using today.
I love it. One thing that we talked about prior to hitting the record button on here, which happens a lot when you start talking to somebody that you love to talk to, was, the importance of even list building, right? Like building an email list. So do you cover that in your book as well? Like how do you do you talk about driving traffic from social media to email?
Yes, as part of the strategy, that is a strategy that I've used with my clients in the past or currently use, is to build an email list through some sort of what we call a lead magnet. So a free piece of content where a user would sign up by providing their email address, which then would go into your email database. And then that's a strategy of how to build your email list. I have to say email has been good, but at the same time, I also see that the results are waning for email. And just because I feel like a lot of times people are not opening up their email. I see that in the results. Like I'm actually seeing that the results for email are just not where they used to be. So another strategy I've been implementing are chatbots and messenger chatbots, where you can use things like Facebook to sign up for a similar thing where let's say you have a lead magnet, but instead of using email, you would sign up with your Facebook Messenger, and then you would receive messages as the end user, with communications from the brand.
I love that. I think chatbots are a lot of fun. I also think that there's a lot of people using them pretty poorly, and that's bad for all of us. When we're getting chat messages at all crazy times of the day and night from people, so I love when there's people like you out there teaching people how to do it strategically.
Yeah, absolutely. All of this will require strategy. We can't just be like throwing things out and hoping that it'll work, because we
Right.
want to be communicating with our end users in a manner that makes them want to engage with us, and not just be like, "Hey,
Exactly.
buy my stuff."
Exactly. Well, you know what? I mean, I just think of this one person that I registered with their chatbot, and I really do love them. I'm on the East Coast, they're on the West Coast, and they're nighttime West Coast people, and I'm a morning. They're nighttime West Coast people, and I'm a morning East Coast person. So they would be like, hey, I'm going live on Facebook, and it would come in at like 11 o'clock at night for me, and bing my phone because it's a notification. You can't, and then piss me off because I got like, you're waking me up with this stuff. So you have to be really, I think it's such a great strategy when you're using it in a smart way. And I think there are so many people doing it in a smart way, but there's still people that are doing it. And I use it, so I love it. So I'm not trying to talk people out of it. I guess my point is, pay attention to how you're using it, because unlike email, right? People get notifications for this. You don't often get notifications for every email message you get, but you often get notifications for Facebook messages.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, it's going to be all part of the strategy on how to best communicate.
Right. Awesome. So what made you write this book? What made you move from, take this next step to write a book about all of this?
Sure. That's a good question. And I've got that question asked a lot in terms of why I wrote the book. And the reason really is I wanted to create something for the entrepreneurial community, because like I said, the book is all about what I've done with my private clients, and I've gotten so many good results and good strategies out of it. And I just felt like I would be doing a disservice to the entrepreneurial community if I kept it all to myself, because there are so many things that you can use in the book right now, if you buy the book now, and to implement in your business. I mean, like we talk about a content calendar, that's one of the things you can implement right away, for example. And I just felt that it would be such a benefit for other entrepreneurs to read the book and to implement these strategies in their business to grow their business.
I love it. I love it. So how can people get your book?
Oh, well, the great thing is that I'm actually giving my book away for free to all the listeners of this podcast episode.
Ooh,
so the book...
we love presents.
Yes.
Podcast.
The book is going to be in a PDF format, so I'm not sending out the book in the physical product,
Right.
but in the PDF version, absolutely. And the great thing there is that you can download it immediately and start reading it and start using it for your own business. So if you go to Ginzburg.com /Good Girls, and you can include the link in the show notes, that would be great.
But we absolutely will.
.com /Good Girls, and I'd love for you to download it, because I think it's just gonna automatically, like, even if you implement just one thing, it's gonna help your business.
Thank you so much for doing that. Okay, so beyond checking out your book, how can people learn more about you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, of course, I'm active on social media because I preach social media every day. So I use a lot of social media and post on it, I'd say several times a day now. I used to be like, a couple times a week. Now it's several times a day. So please get in touch with me on social media. I'm very active on LinkedIn, and you can find me, Gene Ginzburg, digital marketing expert. Also on Instagram at Gene Ginzburg. And I also have a YouTube channel where I have at this point, about 150 absolutely free content videos all about entrepreneurship, all about digital marketing. You can check out and start, again, using that in your business. So check out my YouTube channel. It's also Gene Ginzburg. It's youtube.com /Gene Ginzburg. So absolutely check out all that stuff and get in touch with me.
Awesome. Thank you. So is there anything else you want to share with us here today? Anything that we should have asked you and didn't ask you?
No, I'm just very excited to be on the show and talk to someone who's also in the space and, chit chat back and forth about LinkedIn and digital marketing. So it was very much a pleasure being here today. Thank you so much, Karen.
Oh, thank you for doing this. I really appreciate it, Gene. And I think that I'm going to check out your book because I am a lifelong learner and I'm always looking for, how other people are doing things that maybe I didn't even think of. So I can't wait to check out your book, and hopefully everybody else listening will as well. So thank you so much for being here today and for sharing all your genius with us.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Okay. Take care. Thank you so much, Jean, for that. That was such a fun conversation. It was great to get to know more about you and your business, and thank you for sharing all those juicy tips with my Good Girls Get Rich audience. So just a quick reminder that the show is brought to you by the Triple Your Biz Club, tripleyourbiz.com. All the details of the program are there, and if you have any questions, just schedule some time to chat at chatwithkarenY.com, and we'll chat and see if it's a good fit for you, or if there's some other fit in one of my products or services for you. I'd love to chat with you. So thanks again for being here today for this week's episode of Good Girls Get Rich. And remember, in our solo shows, we're diving into list building in these episodes. So the next upcoming episode is about how to grow your email list. So that will be episode 48. You don't want to miss that. I'll see you then.